Hello, you're watching Al's Geek Lab. I hope that you're doing fantastic today. I thought that I would do another review of some games from the second year of the IBM PC. So IBM PC came out in 1981. It was this massive, big, hulking machine. Yeah, just incredibly huge compared to today's laptops and small computers, which are like, you can basically get, they're like the size of a sandwich. And I thought, look, a lot has happened over the last 42 years, 43 years. But the technology, the actual IBM PC standard, has still endured through all this time. And in fact, I can run IBM PC games from 1981 or 1982 on my old PC or on my new PC. To this day is still pretty cool. And in fact, we've got emulators as well where we can actually watch and play those games in. So I'm thinking, okay, let's go back and see just how crap those games were from the early 1980s. And I got to be honest, last time we had one of these videos, we looked at the games from 1981. Bearing in mind that the IBM PC came out in like September, I think it was, of 1981, maybe it was August. There wasn't an awful lot of time for computer games to actually be invented in 1981. Everybody was kind of figuring out, how does this computer work? What languages are available for it? How am I going to make this all work? So it doesn't strike me as a big surprise that we didn't have a lot of great games in 1981. However, My Abandonware is just one of the websites out there. It's by no means the completely final website for all of these games. There may be other games on other abandonware websites, but for this video, we'll just have a quick look at the games here. And we're going to play a couple of them as well. So what I've done is I've gone on to, because there'd be too many to play, I've gone on and selected a rating of 3.5. And by the way, you can do this yourself. You search by criteria up the top right-hand side of the My Abandonware website. Search by criteria, and I've said the rating will be at least 3.5 stars. Year obviously is 1982, and of course the platform is DOS. So I've gone on a few of these and had a look and downloaded some. So we're going to play a couple of these right here, right now, and we'll probably come back and play maybe a few more. So I'll just go through the games in this time. Some of them I was like they look kind of boring. Didn't bother. But then, games like Anti-Ballistic Missile had a bit of a story to them, Artillery, Bitbat, and so forth. So I've handpicked a few of these games, and I'm going to go through them right now. The first one I'm going to go through is pretty important because it kind of set the benchmark for the flight simulator kind of genre. So there wasn't really proper simulation games that I know of before the Microsoft Flight Simulator came out. And it's actually purchased from a company called Sublogic. So no, Bill Gates and co didn't actually write this game. They acquired it from a company called Sublogic. But it came out in like either late 1982 or early 1983, depending on what your opinion is. And really, it was a very influential game. It really defined the genre of simulation, specifically flight simulation. There were other sim-type games before that, but really this was the first of its kind in a way that hadn't really been done in a very professional simulator perspective before. Like, this actually simulated a plane. It had flaps. It had, the speed. It had the horizon view that you have in a real plane, and all of this sort of stuff. It felt like almost like you're actually in a plane. So if you were a captain of a plane, or you were a hobbyist, you could actually learn maybe a thing or two about flying from being in a flight sim. And of course, Flight Simulator is still around to this very day, a testament to the capability of the brand. And yeah, you could even you could buy extra scenery packs. So there's a Japan scenery, Western US scenery, and so forth. Now, I haven't actually well, I have downloaded this, but it's actually quite a pain in the bum to get working. Any case, it was a defining game for one of the early IBM PC games that really put the IBM PC on the map. Next one I thought was interesting was the kind of fact that this one is on a 3D first-person perspective. Well, it's kind of, you're behind the person, as you can see here, and there's the person there, but it's a 3D perspective with a map, which is pretty interesting. There weren't many games that had, there was a lot of things. I mean, it says, in fact here, said this game was a top-down maze game. It says ASCII there, but this is graphics. It's clearly not ASCII. And it's kind of similar to Pac-Man. So yeah, you're basically going around looking for coins, gold, diamond, sword, rug, necklace, musket. So there's a bit more to it than basically just calling it a Pac-Man ripoff, but in a 3D maze. I think it's quite interesting. So we're going to have a look at how we play that one. There's also Apple Panic. Now, Apple Panic was made for the Apple II 8-bit line of computers, and it's kind of like Lode Runner, if you've ever played Lode Runner. I don't know whether it was pre-Lode Runner or after Lode Runner, but I think they were kind of all around the same time. And it was ported to the PC. Not sure if it was actually ported down in 1982, or whether it was a little bit later. But the initial game came out in 1982, and then was ported in some time for DOS. The publisher was Broderbund, who were became prolific producers of some really cool games. There was this game called Attack, or I think it was just called Attack, yeah. I love this screenshot here. Basically, when you fire up the game, the first thing you see is, it was made by IBM, right? The first thing you see is general utility programs. It shows like IBM at their finest. They were very much all about business. In fact, if we look over here, this is the typical sort of arrangement that you would get from IBM. It would be this grey box, and out would come a binder, and this one's the guide to operations, so it really is utility. It is pretty boring, but in there you'd get your manuals, and everything would have a big manual to show you what to do, and at the back you'd get this kind of sticky kind of binder thing, and it would have the floppy disks in it. That was the way that IBM worked. It was very business time. And so the fact that they called their games utility programs, that just says it all about IBM. But this was a game. Now, I think there was a little bit more to it than just being a game. And I think I have reviewed this one already, so I'm not going to review it today. But basically, have a look at my other video for IBM Attack. It's hilarious because it had a hidden message in it, not so hidden really, and it's kind of, I don't know if IBM realized what they actually were releasing when they released it. Like, they might have just got somebody in the back room, thought it'd be a laugh, made this game in BASIC, and then snuck it on a disc, and the people at IBM never realized that it was on that same disc because it's a bit dodgy. It says your mission is to attack and destroy the Apple computer manufacturing plant. How very un-IBM, right? You're allotted 35 bombs and 60 lasers. They are Apple-owned fighters trying to stop you. You must destroy them with your lasers. If you get hit by them, then you're destroyed. If you get hit by the ground, then you are destroyed. If you go out of the atmosphere, the blue line, then you'll lose all control except lasers and bombs. And your ship will begin falling. Drop bombs on all structures and you will get points. The Apple plant shown below is worth the most points. Clearly, somebody in IBM did not like those young whippersnapper upstarts at IBM. So I thought it's absolutely hilarious that IBM went all out to try and say how bad Apple were. So it really was by 1982. It was all on. It was Apple versus IBM and IBM versus Apple. So that's quite cool. This one here is called Bitbat. and quite an interesting looking game. I thought it was graphically pleasing, slightly different from all the other games that were coming out at the time, which were literally Space Invaders with a different name or Pac-Man with a different name. So yeah, interesting little thing. Let's see if we can have a quick look at that one as well. This one's called Computer Operator. Again, I don't think I'm going to look at this one right now, but it's an educational simulation game. And I thought, Computer Operator, this is probably not the most interesting sounding game I've ever heard of. But what you do is it simulates what it is like to be the operator of an interactive computer system, such as the IBM VM system. I don't even know what the IBM VM system is. But yeah, it's basically like going to work, pretending that you're at work and looking at tasks on your machine, messaging people on a multi-user system like Message Terminal 4, silence the blathering toadies. It's certainly an original game. I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard of another game, a computer simulation game before, like ever. So very interesting sort of thing coming out. Do you guys remember Gorillas.Bas, which was supplied with QBasic back in like MS-DOS 5 or something like that? Or there was another game which was shareware, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was called now, but basically you had tanks on either side and you tried to blow each other up, and the ground would kind of cut down when you shot the ground near. Well, this is the very first kind of thing off that. It's called Artillery, and it was very similar, and I think it was written in BASIC, because basically you can see you have to judge, how many degrees and perhaps the velocity of your cannon to blow up the other person. So let's have a look here. To shoot the shells, input angle velocity example is 70-100. So yeah, it's literally you're going to blow up your opponent, and you can see there's this big ridge in the middle. You're one of these dots down at the left or right, I guess. It might be a two-player game, I'm not sure, but you can see it's got some variables in it like wind and angle and speed, so it's quite an interesting kind of little game. You could play that for a while, I guess, and obviously more advanced versions came along like Gorillas and some other games later on in time. Next game is called Cosmic Crusader, and I do believe that I have reviewed this game in my 1982 summary as well. It was a well-made game in my opinion. When I reviewed it, I thought the sprites were really nice. It was kind of a reasonable pace. So it was actually, I guess it depends on which version of Space Invaders you're playing, but it could be conceived as a nicer version of Space Invaders, a nicer Space Invaders than Space Invaders. If you note that the game was written by a fella called Michael Abrash. The next game I was going to show you also is written by Michael Abrash. Now, the game was written really well. As I say, I thought the graphics were good and so forth. The gameplay was good. So it wasn't just another clone of Space Invaders. And this one wasn't just another clone of Pac-Man. The sprites were nice. The sound was good. It was well made. And I think there was a few little things here, not much different from Pac-Man, although I think the levels are more devilishly designed, i.e. there are many more dead ends and in the higher levels, and there are more types of enemies than the Atari game. Overall, a great classic, right? So although they were arcade classics, they were well done, and they were obviously coded from scratch. So when we know this, I thought, Michael Abrash, that name rings a bell. So I had a look over here. Here's Michael Abrash. And no wonder I remember his name, because he started off life, obviously starting here in 1982. He made Space Strike, Cosmic Crusader, then Big Top in the following year, 1983, and so forth. And then he was asked by Microsoft to go along and write the graphics code for Windows NT 3.1. You may have heard of Windows NT. It became something called, well, Windows 2000, then XP, then Windows 7, and blah, 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 and so forth, right? So he was obviously quite instrumental to the initial development of Windows NT. And then he was hired by id Software. You may have heard of them. They made games such as Doom, Wolfenstein, and also Quake, where he worked on Quake. And then, he worked on various journals and stuff like that, pardon me. And so he's worked for Facebook and so forth. So he's a really popular guy, obviously very intelligent fella, and yeah, knows his stuff. So it all came out of games like Cosmic Crusader and Snack Attack. So there you go. There's a few games there that you may have heard of, and certainly have a good lineage on the PC. And if it wasn't for him being an early developer in the PC, he might have gone on to the Amiga or something like that. So the fact is that he got involved in early PC, obviously assembly language development, which really made a big difference. So there you go. Another game here called Lunar Landing. That one's just kind of like, looks like you drop a bomb on rockets on somewhere like that. Then there's the very famous Paratrooper. Lots of people will remember this one. It did come out in a similar game or something like that for the Apple PCs. It wasn't called Paratrooper. I think it was called something else, but I remember the IBM PC one, Paratrooper, Greg Cooperberg. Very well made game. Basically pretty simple though, and you will get bored of it fairly quickly, but basically you've got these paratroopers that come down, you've got to shoot the hell out of them, and of course you've got to shoot down the helicopters as well that they come out of, and finally there are big planes that come along with bombs, and you've got to shoot the bombs before they land on you, which gets pretty scary pretty quickly. A few other games that are notable, just other really good clones. PC Man, done by the same guy there that did Paratrooper, Greg Cooperberg. He did a very nice Pac-Man clone called PC Man. And then this one here I thought was interesting, I guess, because it wasn't the same as all the other games. It was called Pac Worm. And I guess we can have a look at that one as well, maybe. So yeah, so those are some of the games from 1982. What do you think of my selections? So what I'll do is I will open up a few of those right now, and we'll have a look at them together. If you've got better memories of other games from 1982, I would be all ears to hear about them. So please just drop me a line and let me know what you think. Comments below. Thank you very much. All right, so what have we got here? Apple Panic. Let's start with Apple Panic. Now, just in case you don't know, DOSBox has DOSBOX-X. It's like an enhanced version of DOSBox. So if you've got DOSBox but don't have DOSBox-X, go out, download DOSBox-X. There's lots of extra menus up here that make life a bit easier for you, but also this one here is pretty helpful if you are playing these really old games. So for example, if you go down to CPU menu, and you can see here we've got the 8086, 186, 286, 386, 486 Pentium, all the rest. So this helps you set the CPU speed off the particular computer that you're trying to actually play with. So it makes this game probably behave as it's supposed to. So let's have a look at Apple Panic by Olaf Lubeck. Again, Rotor-Burned software, absolutely massive in the early 1980s and sort of up, I think, into the early 90s, in fact, as well, on lots of platforms, not just the PC. So you have to switch on numlock to get the keys working. The speed is probably approximately where it should be now. And you can see the longer I take to do something, the lower my score is going. Now, I figured out there that, I think I figured out there my dig key. I just pressed it. What was it? I don't know, I pressed the key there and I dug, but then it went away there. Ah, it's space. Of course it is. Alright, now so the idea is we're going to get one of these guys in the hole and bash them. It's pretty violent, really. Right, fall in there. Ah, come on. Bash, bash, bash. He's gone. The guy's a goner. You die. Come back. If these guys are supposed to look like apples, I'm sorry, I'm not buying what you're selling. Now, did I just go right through him? Yes, I did. Gotcha. I like how the floor is immediately replaced after you've dug a hole right through it. Ah, he got me. Yeah. So that's Apple Panic. I think you get the idea of that game. So now, next game, let's play what we got. Treasure Hunt. Let's do this in some sort of semblance of order. Yeah, here we go. Hunt. Treasure Hunt 1982. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of buttons to press. At least they're all on the top. Do I have a color display? I sure do. So delete, replay this floor plan. Right, okay, let's go. So I've got the number lock on. And here's, wow, look at the speed. So there's I'm using the num keys here, the numeric keyboard. On my keyboard you can't see that, but yeah, so the redraw there is pretty awesome. You can actually see it being redrawn in real time. So I'm just gonna, I got a rug. And we got 2 blocks there. Oh, I feel very disorientated. Like, what happened to that? Got to say the music in this is top notch. Where did it? I've got diamonds and I've got a rug. So that's clearly straight ahead. That gold dot or a yellow dot apparently was a musket. Okay. Now, no, I don't want to end the game. What does 3 do? Oh, there's the little map. Ah, I see. Right, okay. So 3, and then I guess the green dots, are they the ones that I've been on? Or is... Cool. Well, anyway. Now, that doesn't make any sense. That's very confusing. Big pockets. Okay, so I'm headed down this way. Does that? I think the green dots on the map there signify that I have been in that place already. I'm guessing. Let's go. Let's move onwards. Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't been this place. Okay. I mean, that's not terrible. I quite like the fact that it will show you where you've been. What does 5 do? Don't know. What does 7 do? Oh, it shows me the corner of the map. It doesn't show me the whole map. I don't really know what that's all about. It's not thrilling stuff, I gotta be honest with you. But I think the main thing that I would say about this is that it's kind of like one of the very firsts. There wasn't that many first-person 3D perspective games at all. I think one of the very first ones to do it was the first Ultima game. And even then it was pretty ropey. So it was Alakabeth, I think that game was called. It was pretty ropey, yeah. But I guess this is... So I'm going to go one up, then to the right. I think... No, my orientation is way off. Right, there's a dot. Yeah, I'm going the totally wrong way. The way I'm expecting. Yeah, this is dumb. The orientation is not great, and so I'm going to give that game a pass. Sorry, Treasure Hunt. Let's play Bitbat. Bitbat by Alvar Savoya. Okay. And the other thing about back in the day was that we really did have some insane character like movement. There was no standard like up, down, left, right. It was basically just what anybody felt like using. There was no convention. The convention on keys really kind of settled, I don't know, at least the mid 80s. It was a good while before keys started to get more of convention, like use the numeric keypad, use the cursor keys. Use del to move right, okay, insert to move left, space to fire, P to pause, X to system. Do I want color? And again, that was a big thing because back in 1982, we still didn't have this CGA display for most people. Most people were still using monochrome display. So spacebar to start. Okay. Man, I don't know if it's supposed to be this fast, but this is fast. And all I can do is move left or right. I can't stop. I need the reflexes of a 12-year-old here. Whoa. Yeah. I wish it could I could use the 5 key to stop rather than having to go left or right. And it's as it's going at this speed, it's pretty much a game of chance. Oh. So not quite Space Invaders because they're just kind of moving semi-randomly, I would dare say. Collision detection seems a bit off. There is, like Space Invaders, there's a limitation on how many shots I can fire off. So it certainly has seen its influence from Space Invaders. I can tell you that much. I'm noticing that some of those shots that are coming down are actually following me, which is a new dynamic, I guess. And they're getting faster, like Space Invaders. Whoa. Ah, this is getting fast. Ah! Again, kind of like the Space Invaders dynamic. I've got one more. This is impossible. This is so fast. Thanks. I have a new score. There you go. That was Bitbat. What's next? The next game is Computer Operator. Okay, this is going to be a laugh. it's a basic game. So it uses the basic, the Microsoft Basic Interpreter to start this game. This game simulates what it's like to be the operator of a large interactive computer system such as the IBM VM system. Do you want to continue? Why not? Why the heck not? How much memory in megabytes? Now look at that. Like obviously we're talking about big mainframe systems here back in the day. Your basic configuration, you could have a maximum of 32 megs of RAM. Boom. Maximum number of system users logged in. Well, I don't know. Like, let's say 50. I don't know. Maximum number of disk drives. You could have 30 disk drives in 1982. That's impressive. Let's go 15. Go down the middle. Let's have as many tape drives as possible. Speed of the game. Let's go, I don't know, 125. This gen is complete. Begin system IPL. That was like panty lines. Okay, this is cool. It's pretending that it's a real system. User 5 logging on. User 6, equipment failure. Well, that's truly like it used to be. You was always having some sort of, problems with pieces of hardware. Spool space is 90% full. Spool space. Am I supposed to do anything here? Help. So I'm assuming that I need to be able to need to fix these spool issues. I have no idea what the commands would be. So if I press Control Break right now, or Control C, it allows me to break. Let's have a look. Look at that. So those are all the different commands you can give the system. This, I guess, was what people would take for a game back in the day. Bless. Goodness me, there's a lot of code here. Here's the instructions. Right, anyway, I think that one probably is not going to keep my attention, my very poor attention span. So let's move on to artillery. Oh yeah, another basic game. Again, you can sort of see like things hadn't moved on a lot from 1981. Shoot shells, input angle, velocity is an example of 70, 100. All right. Each gun company starts with 100 men. After each shot, there is a deserter on each. What? Deserters? Near misses can cause casualties dependent on the distance and number of men remaining. A near miss, which would bring a gun company to less than 10 men, is treated as a direct hit. All right, let's go. Yes, do I want varying wind? Nah. Oh, here we go. Cue the awesome graphics. Okay, angle. We got 100 men. Didn't care about equal rights in those days. It was all men. 47 miles an hour wind, angle speed. So I'll go 170-50. What happened there? Did I blow myself up? Right, so now I'm on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go 80 degrees and 100 velocity. There it goes. There's my little bomb. I think not enough velocity. Oof. This is just like Gorillas. This is cool. Yeah. Okay. 270, and I want much higher velocity. I want like 300 velocity. What? Did I kill myself? I must have done. Well, that was dumb. Right, let's try that again. 120, 100. Oh, it's wrong way. 100 and it's kind of 120, 300. Here we go. Let's try. Oh, no. What's going on? 80, 100. I don't understand these angles, obviously. Too slow. Okay. I'll go 60 degrees and 300. There we go. Too fast. Right through the information there. So I'll speed this one up. 350. Oh, way too fast. So long. It's still going. It's got to space. Okay. 60, 150. Half the speed. Come on, gravity, do your thing. No. Too much. But a valiant attempt. Oh, I was way too fast there. Let's try 200 on this side. Because I was right there before. Ah, man! That's way too much. $200's like, oh, actually, that's not bad at all. Here it comes. No, way off. Way off. But this one here, 8200, it could be like 8185. The wind only being 2 miles per hour doesn't really make much of a difference. Here it goes. Oh, it's going to be close. Do I need to change it by 1 velocity? 60 by 100 this time. Yeah, I don't understand the way that these velocities work. Clearly. 8186. So this would be a fun game for about 5 minutes, but you could at least play with your friend. You could play with someone. Because it supports, it's pretty much a 2-player game. Right. How can that still be there? It clearly got taken out there. Oh, I see. Right. 62 men on the left-hand side and 87 on the right. Yeah, so, right. Okay, I get it. I think that this one's winning. Okay, so 60, 150. Still too much juice. Anyway, that has been artillery. I think that will do for now. Let's Control C there and quit out of that one. That's artillery, if you like that sort of thing. Since we had fun with that one, we have time for Paratrooper. Paratrooper was one of the top games of 1982. Let's go. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's basically it. Here's those little guys. Oh no, I'm not doing well. It feels a bit fast. You see every spent bullet? Oh no, that's it. I'm done for. They don't want to come up yet. Yeah. I'm gone. I'm gone, man. See? There's nothing I can do to stop them now. It's all about just saving face now. Damn! Yeah. The only other things you have to do, really, you'll see a big jet plane coming along. If you get that far, obviously I didn't get that far. Yeah, it feels playing faster than it should be. Like that skull and crossbones. Every spent bullet is a negative score, so I just lost a point for that. There you go, 50. Right. These are nightmares. You don't get those bombs, you're done. It's a one hit and you're off. Oh no! Just like that. So yeah, the fun doesn't last for very long. That's really the end of it. That's the game. But yeah, cool. And it doesn't give me an option to quit because it's good that way. Fantastic. So anyway, that has been Al's Geek Lab for another scintillating look at the world of early games for the IBM PC. Next time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on just a few games, probably just do one game at a time because we're going in to 1983 and there's probably somewhat better games. The game certainly got a lot more fast-paced from about 1985, 86 onwards. There were some really good graphics, some really good differences, and you could start to see the PC starting to take over as a gaming platform as early as sort of 1986, 87, but really it wasn't till the sort of closer to 1990 that the games started to come out and go, oh, actually, these are contenders for being just as good as the Amiga and the Atari ST, which up until then were those platforms by far away, especially the Amiga, just kicked the ass off the PC. The Amiga came out in 1985 and just basically dominated. It was much better graphically, much better audio-wise. I mean, the PC speaker here, you can hear it, just sounds utterly crap. The color display was a 4-color display. When the Amiga came out, it was capable of at least, I think it was hundreds of colors, and it had a modular synthesis kind of system. The Atari ST was very similar, proper 16-bit computer, and then the IBM PC started to really pick up in that later stage. The EGA display came out in, I think, 1984, I want to say, and that had 16 colors, still behind the Atari ST and the Amiga. And it really wasn't until 1987 when the VGA display came out, which could handle most the low-end 16 colors, but if you had enough memory on your card, it was 256 colors. So then it was the time when it started to take over and multimedia came into the PC, and that was all around the sort of late 80s, early 90s at that point, and Windows 3.0, which came out in 1990, that was the first Windows operating system to support multitasking, and then obviously things like multimedia as well. So real big change, and that all came about in the sort of late 80s and early 90s. So big changes for the PC. So we've got a wee while to go before we get there, but I thought this would be an interesting little insight into what games were like. These are the sort of top rated games of 1982. Come back for the next video where we'll be playing games from 1983. Until then, thank you very much for watching Al's Geek Lab, and all I've got left to say is be excellent to each other. See ya.